Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the March 25th meeting of Walpole Select Board. It's now 7 o'clock, the time of our posted time of our meeting. I call the meeting to order. Let's all stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, one quick order of business before we move into our appointments. We have a list of reappointments that we are going to handle as one big block. These are all appointments to boards and committees where we don't have new people or we don't have any, 3-for-2s or any of that kind of stuff. So we're just going to vote them as a block. One thing I did want to just disclose, I'm going to still vote, but the Education Fund, Amy DeVito, is my sister-in-law. So just disclose that.
Can I disclose that the Walpole Trails Committee is me?
Okay.
Myself.
Any other disclosures? Mark, can I have a motion, please?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the list of reappointments as listed in the March 25th agenda.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. 5-0-0. Okay, on to our appointments. So I want to take the ZBA appointment out of order here because one of the people has to be at another meeting, so I want to try and hustle that along. So we're going to have Judy Conroy and Robert Shane D'Entremont talk to us about being on the ZBA. There's one position for a regular member and one for an associate member. Both are applying for the regular member. So, Judy, why don't we start with you? Come on up and introduce yourself and talk to us about why ZBA.
Gotta make sure you can hear me. I'm Judy Conroy. Been a lifelong resident of Walpole. Been before you folks many times. Good evening. Actually, 3 years ago, I was appointed as an associate member in April of 2022. And I thought, wow, 5 years went by, but it's only been 3 because I stepped in as you promoted me to fill the full member seat that was vacated by Jane Coffey. Asking to be reappointed to be a full member, which is a 5-year stint. I get that, and I'll be 5 years older. I won't tell you how old I am tonight. I just want to let you know I do my homework. I review the plans. I visit the sites. Occasionally talk to the abutters if they see me walking the properties. And as far as the hearings, I try to be fair, ask appropriate questions to the applicants, their engineers, their lawyers lots of times. And I also ask questions of the applicants. And just to use common sense, take a good common sense approach, and follow the bylaws, of course. It has to be stated. I enjoy it, and in the last 3 years, I think I've missed maybe 4 meetings. Once it's in the calendar, I think I said that before, it's sort of in Sharpie, so unless something serious, like one meeting I missed last week for a medical emergency, it wasn't me. I'm committed to the position, and I would appreciate your support to reappoint me to a full-time member.
Thanks, Judy.
Thank you.
Just a couple comments. So first of all, thank you for being willing to do this, and you've done a good job on the board from where I sit. I did appreciate the fact that when we had that question of conflict of interest, I thought you showed very good judgment there and recused yourself as appropriate. So good job on that. So any other questions or comments for Judy?
Nope.
No. Okay.
So can I just address that, what you just brought up?
You may.
Although I do recuse myself from the hearings of a certain applicant, I make it a point to get up as a citizen to make comments and bring things to light that I'm sure the board would find that they might be asked the same question, but I just I like to bring up points that
Great. Thank you.
for everybody.
Thank you for clarifying that, Judy.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Shane. Same thing, just come up, introduce yourself, and talk to us about why ZBA.
Sure. My name is Robert Shane D'Entremont. You can call me Shane. Been a Walpole resident for about 7 or 8 years so far, and was appointed to the ZBA as an associate member not that long ago. I had expressed an interest in being a little bit more involved. I'm currently in RTM for Precinct 5, and expressed an interest in doing more, volunteering more. And I think during that time when I was appointed just months ago, I made a comment, I think, to this body that I think there's an underappreciated role that planning and zoning play in the quality of life for the residents in Walpole. And so it is a important, often dry topic that I take seriously as well. And having been a resident now 7 or 8 years, I think I bring a mix of both new perspective, but also as a kind of tenured resident now. So I have an interest in helping the town to maintain its integrity with regard to zoning and planning. Want to continue to contribute. Appreciate the consideration and the opportunity I've been given so far, and be happy to answer questions that you might have for me about my interest and service on the board.
So same as I said to Judy, thank you for being willing to be on the ZBA. This is not an easy board to be on. It's a big commitment, and continuity in the attendance of meetings matters. And so appreciate your willingness to do that. And certainly you've been appointed some months ago and done a good job as an associate. So we're glad to have you on board there. So questions or comments? Glenn?
Yeah, hey Shane, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
And I appreciate you volunteering to serve the town, and I know it takes a lot out of your personal life and your professional life, and so I appreciate anybody who does that. And you're an RTM, you're an associate member of the ZBA, and on your associate member application, you had talked a little bit about your service back, I think, in New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
I've never really talked to you too much about it, but you were on the town council there. You served on the historic commission. I think appointed in
Correct.
elected capacities.
Yeah. I so some years ago, but I did a lot of public service work in that town of Mount Holly, New Jersey. I was elected to what would be similar to a select board, and served a short time there. I was a member of the Historic Commission, so that kind of plays into my appreciation for zoning and planning. Is that reflected by my service there with the Historical Commission and kind of historical integrity in towns? I was also involved in urban enterprise zone planning, Main Street planning that you may be familiar with, Main Street USA. I was involved in some of the project planning behind the scenes, not in an official capacity. Urban enterprise zones or designated state zones for relief with sales tax in these communities that were identified that were struggling. And I happened to be in one of those communities and played a role in kind of the application and execution of urban enterprise zone activity. So long history of community service in that regard. Yeah. I don't know what else
No,
to add
that
to
makes sense, and all that experience, I think, would come in handy here in Walpole. We'd benefit from that, and I think we already are, so I appreciate you.
I mean, I'll mention, too, there was, in particular, when I was on the council, there was, the 40B conversations that are happening here today
Yeah.
are important to a lot of people in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of opinions about them, but they're important, regardless of what your opinions are. And as a member of the council, we grappled with some very, very difficult housing issues, even though it was not exactly the same as 40B, it was similar. And those issues were very, very important and heavy decisions to make about development, about ownership and absentee landlordism and things like that, that are a little bit different, but also similar to some of the issues faced in this town. Again, more experience that I've had.
Yeah, and I know we talk up here a lot about having difficulty occasionally filling boards with new faces, and
Sure.
and the fact that you're a new face is certainly something that I
Be
that
careful, right?
Well, yeah, but that's all right. I mean, we need more of that around here, so
Yeah,
I'm
I
glad that
appreciate
you've
that.
stepped up.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Glenn.
Anybody
Other
else?
questions? Mark?
Yeah, I would just make a comment. I appreciate everything that you're doing on the ZBA and all the things that you've done in the past, and I would like to see you become a full member at some point, but I just wanted to tell you right up front, don't give up the hope. I am going to vote for Judy tonight, just because I know she has a lot of experience, but I think you're one of those people who I could see becoming a full member, when the next opening arises, or we may find another thing for you to get involved with if you're looking for something else.
Never know.
I have a couple things in mind, so I may reach out to you at some point, but just wanted to let you know that.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Anyone else? Okay, so since we have two applying for one, what I'd like to do is follow a nomination process, which would say, enter names into nomination with a second, and then we'll just do a show of hands to fill the role on nominations. So I will nominate Judy Conroy to be a full-time member, reappointed as a full-time member to the ZBA. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
I'll nominate Shane Detremont to be a full-time
And
member.
is there a second? I'll second, just because I'm glad that you're actually applying, Shane. So what we'll do is, now we'll just do a show of hands. So all in favor of Judy as being appointed to the ZBA? We have 4, and Shane, 1. So 4-1, Judy, you've been reappointed. Congratulations. Thank you for being willing to do this. And Shane, I assume that you're willing to continue as an associate member of the ZBA?
Yes.
Very, very much appreciate that, and also the fact that you step forward for the full-time job. There'll be a day when we're going to need another full-time person, so just stay tuned. So, Mark, could I just have a motion, please, on this?
You want me to, a
Yeah,
motion
just-
for both of them, or just Robert?
Just for, we've already voted.
Motion to reappoint Robert Shane Detremont as an associate member of the ZBA.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
5-0-0. Thank you both. I appreciate your willingness to serve on that very important board. Good night.
Good night.
Aoife, we're good with the way we handled that, right? Okay, good. All right. All right, so next up, we have candidates Jessica Healy and Julianne Belcher for the Conservation Commission. So let's do Jessica, since you're first on the agenda, if you could come on up. This is 2 for 2. So just briefly, who you are and why you want to be on the Conservation Commission.
Okay, so I'm Jessica Healy. I've been a resident of Walpole for 12 years, something like that. I've wanted to join one of the boards or commissions just to get more involved in the community. Education-wise, I was originally a natural resources major, so Conservation Commission was one of the ones that I was interested in because I was looking at what they talk about and it all seemed relevant. So that was one of the ones that I had applied for.
Well, thank you for being willing to do it. It's another one of those important boards. And Walpole, given the nature of the town we are, there's a big call for, Conservation Commission activity and all that. So really appreciate your willingness to do this. So could I have a motion on Jessica, please?
I'll make a motion to appoint Jessica to the Conservation Commission.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
5-0. Thank you very much for
Thank
being
you.
willing to do this. And Julianne Belcher. Hi, Julianne, how are you?
Hi.
Welcome.
Good evening. I fell in Walpole in 1978 when I came to visit my now husband, Robert Belcher, which some of you know. And I recently have been appointed to the NEPRA board and gotten quite involved with the idea of conservation and stewardship. And speaking with a neighbor, Jack Wiley, he suggested that I could probably do more than just be a sub at the public schools, which I love. I'm a retired English teacher. So I got involved with some of the trails committees. I'm on the development committee for the Neponset Watershed Association. I'm going to the Water Lobby Day at State House and meeting with Senator Rush. And then just thinking it's my turn to do something for Walpole. We moved here in '91, I think, raised both our boys here, and I think it's stewardship, and I think I'd like to be more involved at the grassroots level here in my own town.
Well, same comment as for Jessica. Thank you for being willing to be on the Conservation Commission. It's a really
Sure.
important board, and your background is well-suited to it, and obviously you have some passion around it, so thank
Yeah.
you. Any other comments or questions? Mark?
I'll make a motion to appoint Julianne Belcher to the Conservation Commission effective April 1st, 2025.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
5-0. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Nice to see you.
We have candidates Michael Magnetti and Gopinath Nageshwaran and Thomas Schneider for Economic Development Commission. We have 3 for 2 on this one. So why don't we start with Michael, since we have you up first? Just come on up and introduce yourself and tell us why you'd like to be on the Economic Development Committee.
Good evening. My name is Michael Magnanti. I'm a
compared to most people in this room. I'm a relative newcomer to Walpole, moved here at the end of 2019. But I've quickly adopted it as my home. My wife grew up here, my in-laws still live here, and while we can't know for certain for the future, we can definitely see ourselves raising our family here, so not much more motivation you can have to want to help the town than that. But also just, it's good when people have opinions about what's going on in the country or the state or their town. And I have many opinions and thoughts, and this is an opportunity that those can, have an impact in a greater conversation in the town. I know there's some properties that the town could potentially repurpose, although I think the middle school might have been resolved. But those are conversations I would love to be a part of if I'm lucky enough to be a part of this committee.
Great. Well, thank you again for being willing to serve on economic development. It's an important committee and one that we're going to place more reliance on as we move into certain things like the MBTA communities work that we have ahead of us, and also the prison and what we'll be doing with that site. So
Yep, that was the other one I was aware of. And while I can't claim any pre-existing governance experience or participating in towns, I do have 10 years of working in a business career of various industries and various products. So I like to think that I have something I can bring to the table and contribute to the town if I'm lucky enough.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments?
I would just make a comment. I noticed you applied you listed multiple boards you'd consider joining, and I think one of the hard things for us is when we have 3 candidates for 2 positions, one of them is not going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to say to all 3 right at the beginning, if you're not put on this board, I'd like you to really consider another board, and we'll work to find a match
This would be
for all of you, so.
This is the one that caught my attention the
Okay.
most, but there were definitely others I'd be willing to serve
Okay.
on if this one is not the right fit for me.
I just hate to turn down volunteers, who are interested in the town of Walpole and want to work toward the public good, so. Just wanted to let everybody know that right at the beginning, so.
Well, even if this is not the right fit in your opinion for me, I'd love to help in whatever way you do think is a good fit for me.
Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so we'll go to our next candidate, Gopinath Nageshwaran. I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Relatively new face. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm Gopinath Nageshwaran, in short, Gopi. I'm very much a new resident in Walpole. So I and my fiance, we bought a house like a month back in Walpole, and I see my far future in the town of Walpole, which is why I'm here. And I'm a physician by training. I also have an MBA in healthcare and life sciences. And 16 years back, when I started practicing as a physician in a cancer hospital, I could not take my patients losing their life in front of my eyes, lack of treatment options available those days. And I'm not a person who sits back and waits for the solution to come to me. So I started looking for what can I do differently to make patients live longer and have a better quality of life. The answer I looked for was industry, where the research and development were slow. So I thought maybe I should get there. So I quit medical practice, got into industry, in the ambition of accelerating the research and development for all these treatment options. Therefore, we can make that available for physicians, because the challenge was not lack of great physicians. The challenge was lack of promising treatments 16 years back, and a lot of things have changed since then. And having started back in India, I realized that I can't make a global impact being in India, which is where I had to move myself from India into Singapore. I lived there for 6 years which was the regional hub for most of the pharma companies. So building my experience and career there, and I moved to US, I would say 3+ years back, where now I work for a pharmaceutical company as a global medical affairs person, also having significant impact on the research and development. And I also mentor early stage biotech, health tech, med tech startups in the Cambridge, Boston area, being part of the innovation system within Harvard, MIT, Northeastern, as well as I serve as an advisor for Massachusetts Innovation Network. So I'm very much connected there. Plus I also do angel investing, working with early stage VCs on these companies as well. So my reason why I'm here, like I mentioned, I see a great future here in the town of Walpole, and having a close proximity to I-95 and so close to Boston Also, before here, I was living in Watertown, and I've seen the metamorphosis of Watertown and Waltham area, of how all the old buildings were turned into fancy lab spaces and corporate offices. So for me, I think some of the motivations I saw within the 1 month that I moved around, I saw a lot of potential here. And I read through the town report of 2023, the 226-page document. I saw some themes emerging, which is affordable housing, infrastructure, and business retention, as well as business expansion. So I was thinking probably my experience so far and where I could contribute to the town is more towards starting with the business expansion through my connections, who are all I do have some connections with the real estate lab development people, plus the VCs and the startups in ecosystem that I am in. So I thought that could be a starting point, and then also contribute to the business retention through my business degree, and which could feed into the infrastructure as well as at some point the affordable housing. I did look through certain ideas around like how LIP program is helping with the affordable housing. I was also thinking again as an idea, as an initial concept of how we can also see if LIP could be something we could work with the developers for the business expansion part of it. So these are some of my initial thinkings. I thought I could be of value, and again, thank you for even providing me this opportunity. I've not done this before, but I feel strongly that I can contribute and be part of this town as I grow myself and my family here. So which is why I'm here. And once again, thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you for, again, volunteering to be part of this. And I must say I was really impressed with your background and intrigued by it, as a matter of fact, given the international nature of it and given your educational background and professional background. We're probably years away from figuring out what's going to happen at that prison site, but we need innovative thinking in terms of how that site could be developed, and you know, some of the things that you talk about sound really interesting. And so I just wanted to say that I was intrigued by your resume, and I appreciate you being here and being willing to offer your services to the town.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else?
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for volunteering.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gopinath. Thomas Schneider, next up. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm going to look at my cheat sheet here. Not as well prepared, perhaps, as the others. Yeah, so I want to be on the Economic Development Commission because I'd like to be part of seeing the future growth of Walpole, supporting that, understanding that better. In my job, I'm not a physician, but I'm a scientist, I'm a manager. People at work, I don't see this myself, but people at work tell me that I'm good at bringing people from disparate opinions together. I've always volunteered my whole life, volunteer ambulance squad in college, Pine Street Inn, member of Epiphany Parish, Mason, Town Forest Committee, sort of list goes on and on, because I think we all have a responsibility to roll up our shirt sleeves and do something about the things that we care about. So I think I'd like to bring that same kind of energy to the EDC. I've been here since '96, so never gonna be a native. That's not in my cards. But I really would like to better understand kind of what the future of Walpole looks like, right? How do we expand our tax base now that we've, it's sort of half this industrial past, and we also have, droves of young professionals, right, in Union West apartments and other places that commute into the city, and how do we maintain that sort of New England friendly town, Walpole, the friendly town, the town that I've gotten to know and really enjoy being a part of, with all these changes. There's many people now from many different nations. Many are small business owners. Like, it's always changing. Any town is changing, but how do we manage that growth in a way that's good for all of us? I find myself thinking about the downtown a lot. To me, there's parts that are rather vibrant, and there's some that need a little TLC. So if that opportunity arises and there's some things to discuss about how to fix up some of those areas, I'd love to see that transpire. I've been to a couple of EDC meetings. I was initially invited by a friend from the Masons, Harry Brusades, and it's 3 people for 2 slots. Like, it's open to the public, so I'm still going to go, even if I'm not elected. And if I am elected, then whoever the odd man out is, should go. All 3 can still go, or we could just change the bylaws and have three seats. But probably that's for another night. So thank you for your attention. I'm happy to be here and answer any questions you might have.
And thank you again for being willing to serve on this important committee and volunteer your time and talent. So we really appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks.
Any other comments?
I just say thanks for volunteering.
Yeah, sure. You got it. Thank you.
So here's what I think we should do on this one. I think we'll follow the nomination process again, but I think we'll simplify it, and I'm just going to ask that we enter all 3 names into nomination. So could I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay, so all 3 names are now in nomination. We'll just do we'll raise hands and pick that way. So first up is Michael Magnetti, so show of hands for Michael. We have 2. Gopinath. 1, 2, 3, 4. And Thomas. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Gopinath and Thomas have been elected to the Economic Development Commission. And Michael, I appreciate again you being here. Mark raised an interesting point, that you're interested in doing other things, and certainly would like to explore those with you. You're clearly a very qualified candidate. I have to say, we don't often have 3 people come before us that have the kind of backgrounds and skills that the 3 of you have, and any one of you or all of you could serve on this board easily. So I appreciate, again, all 3 of you being here tonight. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
And so just to make that a little more specific, I plan to talk to Aoife after the meeting and see if there's any other boards that are looking for some help. Or I'd even go so far as to consider adding an associate position to one of the boards if it felt like a good fit. Just, I hate to turn away a good volunteer because there aren't so many of them as you would expect. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, is I think one of the things that makes Walpole special is the amount of people who are willing to volunteer their time for the benefit of the others in the town. So that really resonates with me. So let us look around and see if we can find another board or create an associate position. Again, I can't speak for the whole board, but that's,
You have my contact information, so.
yes,
Yeah,
yep, thank you.
Thank you. Really appreciate you all being here.
thanks, Chris.
Good night now. All right, our next appointment is with Chief Kelleher, our police chief, for a quarterly report. So, Chief. Good evening, Chief. Welcome.
Good evening, thank
Tom,
you.
yeah, you don't have to stay for the whole meeting.
Yeah, certainly.
You are, absolutely, yeah, but you don't have to.
All right, thank you for having us here tonight. I'll start with some of the more notable incidents that have occurred since we were here last in December. On December 16th, we had a missing person, elderly person from Washington Street in South Walpole reported to us. They were supposed to head to a day program during the day, in the morning and never made it on the bus. As such, our officers did a comprehensive search of the area to include retrieving some video from around that person's residence. Images from the video were disseminated to area departments, at which time an officer in Attleboro recognized that person later in that same day and was able to locate them. Thankfully for them, for paying attention and being prepared, and they were able to return that person home to their family, which was a good ending. On December 24th, Christmas Eve, no less, we had a larceny for a motor vehicle in Walmart. A person was working at the Walmart store, and their vehicle was in the parking lot, was broken into. $500 in cash, along with 5 bottles of perfume, was stolen out of their own vehicle. The investigation revealed that suspects had ridden a Ford model pickup truck just prior to breaking into the victim's car. The suspects then went into the Walmart store itself to try to attempt to return the perfume, at which time investigation revealed that the people that tried to return the perfume were the same person that owned the vehicle, and further interview with that individual who owned that truck yielded a confession, and was also identification of the second suspect. And as a result, the property was returned and charges were filed as a result. On January 7th, we had a disturbance at the Fairfield Inn. There was a domestic disturbance. A person reported they were the victim of a domestic violence incident at the Fairfield Inn. The victim indicated the previous day they were assaulted by the suspect with a firearm, which was located inside the hotel. It was suggested that the firearm had been since discarded since prior to our arrival and prior to the report making its way to us. Search of the room utilizing a canine specifically trained in ballistics evidence and firearms did not yield the firearm. We also searched the property surrounding the hotel as a result, and no firearm was located. The suspect was taken into custody on the domestic violence charge as a result, but the firearm claim was unfounded at that point. On February 5th, we had a financial crime where an elderly victim had recently opened an account at a Chase Bank. Shortly thereafter, they started to receive phone calls on their cell phone indicating that there was some fraudulent activity on that account and that they, as a result, should withdraw $20,000 in cash and deposit that money into crypto ATMs throughout the area. Unfortunately, they did deposit $10,000 of the $20,000 that was requested into a crypto ATM in Norwood, but got kind of hicked up on that and did not deposit the remaining amount. Came in and filed a report with us. Our detectives conducted an investigation and working in conjunction with the FBI at this point. However, we were not able to return those funds back to that victim, which is unfortunate. But the investigation remains ongoing, and we'll utilize our federal partners to hopefully yield some leads on that. Those are difficult cases to investigate, but we're seeing it's very common, and we certainly urge people never to do anything of that sort. Withdrawing money to crypto accounts is not a normal, solution to fraudulent activity, so we need to warn the public on that. Unfortunately, we had 2 drug overdoses this quarter, one on January 24th, where a person ingested some pills that were apparently opioids. Fortunately, Narcan was administered by a family member prior to the arrival of first responders. Pills were located at the scene and collected by the investigators, and the person was transported to the hospital by the paramedics and are expected to survive that ordeal. And on February 4th, we had another overdose where a person had ingested cocaine, which apparently had been laced with an opiate of some sort. 911 was called, and our dispatchers were able to talk the person through administering Narcan to that victim who called. Officers arrived on scene. The person was still unresponsive, administered more naloxone, and they were treated by paramedics as well. And unfortunately, their condition improved, and they will survive that ordeal as well. In terms of stats, we had almost 4,300 calls this quarter, which is up from 4,000 in the fourth quarter of 2024. And down from nearly 5,000 that we had in quarter one in 2024. We had 22 arrests this quarter, up from 16 in quarter 4, but also down from nearly 40 this time last year. Overdoses, I just mentioned, we had 2 this quarter with no fatalities. This time last year, we did not have any, so we were up 2 from that period of time. Both Little Wonders, Longview Farm, we had 50 calls of service this quarter, up from 38 last quarter. And up from 44 this time last year. The home has been busy a little bit for our officers, but we have still had a good dialogue with their leadership and with the folks at DCF, so I do feel good about our relationship with them, even though we have seen an uptick in some call volume up there. But we are working with them and working on getting certain kids that may have a hard time up there that might be causing disturbances school-wide to either have them, evaluated to get them a better fit or move them out off campus. So fortunately, we are still having those conversations, and we're trying to do what's best for the kids up there and also to limit the impact on the community. Mental health calls for service, we had total of almost 695 calls in 2024, which is down from 731 in the previous year, so it's roughly 60 calls a month. We're going through these calls now. It takes a while to go through them because a lot of the mental health calls involve other different categories of calls, so we have to go through them case one by one, but through the end of January of 2025, we have 61 calls, so we're still on the same trajectory we were last year with those types of calls, still very busy, and our clinician is still incredibly busy managing those folks. In terms of training, we had a number of training related to investigations. We had a new detective go into the unit, so a lot of training was focused on that. Technology search warrants, DNA buccal swab training, collection, human trafficking. The entire detective unit went to a child abduction training put on by the Metro CAR team, which is a very comprehensive training involving locating kids that may have been abducted, so it was a very good training for them, very hands-on. Crime scene processing, and also a crash reconstructionist, some training on the downloading event data recorders from vehicles. We also had officers go to active shooter response training, managing of swatting calls. That was our dispatchers, and some of our officers went to that to to try to vet out when those calls come in. CPR recertification for all of our dispatchers was done this past month, and patrol will all be up in April. In terms of personnel, Detective Kyle Griffin was promoted to sergeant. He was here before you in January. After Sergeant O'Connell retired, he's adjusting well to his new role, fitting in good with that shift and starting to take control of his unit. Officer Bob Doherty, after 20 years on patrol, was assigned to detectives. He brings a wealth of knowledge to that unit. He's got a real niche for financial crime investigations and things like that, so he's been a tremendous asset. He did a temporary duty assignment in that unit and has fit in really well with that unit there. He replaced Detective Griffin upon his promotion. Dispatcher Keith Cogan had resigned to take a job closer to home. He resides down the Cape, so he took a job with Sandwich Fire. And fortunately, we were able to find Maxwell Cropper came right in as a new dispatcher in that unit. So he's working through field training and certifications right now. But he's been good. He's learning the ropes and he's fitting in well with that unit. And finally, in the personnel front, Officer George Bird received a commendation for excellence in crisis intervention from the Norfolk CIT TTAC unit, along with the DMH and NAMI. They came in to present him with that award for his. He's always seeking higher levels of CIT training and mental health training. He's got a reputation of taking his time on those calls and really hearing people out, really going the extra mile to find a solution for those folks that might be in crisis. And he also spends a lot of time at the Home for Little Wanderers, so he's really embraced that role as a patrol officer and taken that on. He's really taken a real interest in that, and it's been a tremendous benefit to us and into that school. So my hat's off to George for that. It's not always an easy topic to get involved in, but he's tremendous at it, and he's well deserving of that recognition from that group. Accreditation, this will be the last time I mention this for 3 years, I promise. I know every time I come here I talk about it, but we achieved full accreditation at the MPAC meeting on February 12th. They voted on it. It was no surprise, but we were very happy to finally have that plaque hanging in the lobby. It was a big deal for us. And again, I can't say enough about Joe Zangetti and how hard he worked on that. So I'll let that go for 3 more years until it comes up again, and I'll talk about it again ad nauseum. And finally, community policing. We had a bunch of events this year. A lot of it had to do with the Special Olympics. Officer Holmes is very much involved in Special Olympics, and we did a Tip a Cop event at Texas Roadhouse in a polar plunge. They actually had to cut the ice out of the pond in Sherburne, so that's good on them. It was cold, but they raised a bunch of money for the Special Olympics, and it's a cause that's near and dear to Officer Holmes' heart, and he was able to corral a bunch of other officers to join him and participate in those events. We did our usual Santa Cop and Giving Tree back before the holidays, which is always a big hit. We help families in need. We get with gifts around the holidays. We attended a community event at Blessed Sacrament. They were gracious enough to host us in the fire department. We had a dodgeball game in which the fire department did not win, but it's okay. Our officers, we all had a good time, and we took home the hardware until next year, so we'll just leave it at that. And then finally, I know I talked to Glenn about this quite a bit with the ABCC alcohol compliance. We have posted that on our Facebook page, and we, in the coming weeks and then periodically throughout the year, we're conducting compliance checks with all liquor establishments in town to ensure that they're up to snuff and doing what they're supposed to be doing with not serving to minors, checking IDs, and making sure that their folks are doing the right thing. So that is going to be ongoing from the summer, this next few weeks, and then again throughout the year. So that is all I have. With that, I'll take any questions anybody may have.
As always, good update, Chief. Congratulations on the big dodgeball win. That's important. Keep that trophy out in the open. And
It's in the lobby, yep.
And on the accreditation, I know you have raised it many times, but it's now official, even though we expected it for a while. Right. And it really is a very big accomplishment, and one that you and your team deserve a great deal of credit for, in particular Officer Zangetti. This is a first for Walpole Police, and it's a big deal. So congratulations to you and the group.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Chief Carmichael started this years ago, and Lieutenant Kane Zangetti has worked tremendously hard on this, and then with building the police station to go with it. So he's worked tirelessly. So yeah, we're very, very proud, very happy, and it's really good for the town, good for the department, good for the office.
It's a big deal. Yeah. Other questions or comments? Glenn?
Yeah, I just want to spill a little bit more ink on the alcohol compliance. I appreciate you mentioning it, and I appreciate the effort that you guys are putting forth. Only because from where I sit, we vote on these sort of licenses to allow these establishments to sell liquor and alcohol. And we assume everybody is following the rules and doing the right thing, and we assume it, but we also want to sort of check to make sure that that's actually happening. So I think, for the most part, I hope that you don't find any violations, but if you do, then, we want to know. And so I appreciate the effort, and you're letting everybody know ahead of time that that it's coming, and just do the right thing, and there'll be no issues.
Of course. Yeah, and just so everybody is aware, since we're all here, that we have not had tremendous issues with any establishments. If we had, you'd hear about it. So we will do those compliance checks, but just for everybody's peace of mind, we are not having significant issues with liquor establishments in town at this point.
Good news. Yeah, thanks.
Anyone else? Mark?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. I'm always impressed at how much training you do, every quarter, and how a lot of that training is done in-house, because you've got key people that can do that. So I encourage you to keep that up. I think that's very important for police departments to stay on the cutting edge of all the training that's available. So, again, great job doing that.
Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, we'd like to keep officers engaged as well, and if they feel more comfortable with training their own. I think you get better training out of it, better feedback from their own. So it's been worked out well for us, and we'll continue to do it. So thank you.
Yep, great.
Anyone else? Okay, Chief, thank you very much.
Thank you all very
Appreciate
much.
it. Great update. All right, next we have Chief Barry, the Fire Chief, for the Fire Chief's quarterly report. Chief?
Good evening, everybody.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us before you this evening. The last time we were before you was December 3rd. Since that time, year-to-date, we've extremely busy. 11, do you want me to step aside?
Yeah. Chief, could we just pause for 1 second?
Sure.
Marcus, how are you? It's good to see you. And Marcus Vaughn is,
You stopped the room when you.
Marcus Vaughn, one of our state reps, has just stuck his head in the door, so just wanted to pause and say hello to him, and thank you for everything you do for Walpole.
Thank you all.
Okay, great, thanks, Marcus. Sorry, Chief, go ahead.
So since the year begun, our runs have gone up quite a bit. We're at 1,145. That's up from 186, up over 186 last year. Extremely busy. Hats off to the crews handling those increase in runs. Prevention activities have also increased. We're up to 917 so far. So we're extremely busy. We started right off with the Station 2 study that was recently awarded, and Captain Keogh, Assistant Chief Torella, Deputy Tebow, and Deputy Hover have jumped right in, migrating information, uploading that information to the company that we contracted with, and we should get that information off to us as soon as possible. We will be making one change to the station design, which will include a dodgeball training facility. So that might cost a little more money, Jim. Just see what we can do, please.
We'll figure it out.
You got a capital budget request coming?
Thank you. So, incidents, we did have 2 fires this past quarter. Working fire and a second alarm fire in Walpole that we responded to. Great job by the on-duty crews mitigating the situation. Those were within 24 hours, actually, on the same day. So a busy day for those groups. Mutual aid, we continue to and receive for the ambulance as we've continuously have for the past few years. We had a working fire in Norwood that we responded to, a second alarm in Westwood, and an automatic aid fire that we went to Norwood down in South Norwood. So great job by the on-duty crews with that. We did have 1 med flight transport from a single-car motor vehicle accident just recently, and we had 0 responses to MCIC to Junction this past quarter. So that's good news from where we had been in the past. Open burning season is upon us. It's permitted from January 15th to May 1st with a permit issued by the Walpole Fire Department, and permission needs to be granted each day and requested each day that you want to burn, and burning is between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. At least 75 feet from each dwelling. Water source needs to be provided with a responsible adult, and only brush is permitted to be burned. That being said, the state map has us listed at the significant level for the drought, which is right about mid-grade, 2 steps below top tier and 2 steps below from the baseline. So continued diligence when you're outside burning, as with all fires, use common sense and caution throughout that process. Personnel, we had 1 resignation this quarter. 2 members are still out IOD, and Firefighter Noonan, one of our newer employees, recently earned his paramedic license, so congratulations to him. That's quite an accomplishment. We're happy to have that. Our budget, we're doing well with our budget, keeping an eye on it, but as we close out the quarter, close out the year, we're keeping an eye on it. Grants, we We've applied for another AFG grant. It's American Firefighters Grant, and it's through the FEMA, the Fed process, so we're waiting to hear where that stands. Very excited to report that he was successful with a state grant, Executive Office of Public Safety and Security. We received just under $19,000 for equipment, and we'll be purchasing various meters and thermal imaging cameras with that. So that's a huge benefit to us. That's a 100% non-matching grant, so it's a great relief for our budget. They did release a second grant. We did apply for that. We're waiting to hear back from that. That we're looking for some personal protective equipment to supplement our equipment. Again, that would be a non-matching fund, so that'd be a great resource for us to obtain. The last time before you, you had some questions about the ambulance fund. I was able to get some information on that. So our transports have increased this past quarter, but because of a different split on our Medicaid and private insurance, our funding has, our revenue has dropped a little bit, just over $14,000 because of the split. It's an increase to the Medicare, Medicaid transports went from 71.4% to 75.2%. So a little bit of increase on that split, which we've experienced that before throughout the quarter. So our Medicare has approved a 2.4% increase effective January 1st, so that'll offset some of it, and we're just starting to see those increased revenues from that increase on this March. The town increases, we should see those in April or May, so we're looking forward to that. On our collection rate of those insurance, of those Medicaid and the self-pay insurance, we're collecting about a 93% rate, so pretty decent on that. The self-pay a little differently. Self-pay accounts, which we have a line item of self-paid insured, we're collecting about 25.73% on that, and the uninsured self-pay is about 3% we're collecting on that. So fortunately, those are only about 5% of our run volume, so it's I don't want to say it's insignificant, but it's obviously those are the individuals that have the most difficulty paying with those situations. So it does go through a collection process through our private company, and just tried to give you that the update on that. Any follow-up questions on the insurance, on the ambulance rates?
I'm sorry, you said it went down $14,000?
Correct. So our call volume.
What did it go down to? Do you have that number?
I do. So this year we went down from 1.358827 to 1,344,276.
Still pretty good.
So we're still up there, but yeah. So it's again.
We don't want to see a decrease, but not.
No, but keeping an eye on it. But it's just that Medicaid split. There's a huge difference between what Medicaid is authorized to pay us, and what we're allowed to collect from them, and what we can
Understood.
collect from
It
the
gives
other
me
insurance.
perspective to hear that number. So
Exactly.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I do appreciate the follow-up on that question, though, and particularly pleased to hear about the 93% on the insurance. That was, I think, a big question, at least in my mind, last time around, so I'm glad to hear that. So thank you for that follow-up.
Thank you. No, I know we've done well with those, with that collection rate. It just didn't have the specific numbers in front of you, so I didn't want to.
Which is fine.
Thank you. Training, we also continue on duty and off duty. Many members have used the contractual provided time, and they've also gone on their own time to the Miles Fire Academy and other resources to obtain training. Multiple members just went to a Fire Officer 2 class that was hosted in Medfield that we co-hosted, so we were able to get reserved seats to that class, so we had a few members take care of that. We also have multiple members taking a Fire Officer class and obtaining their certification through both of those sources, so we're excited to see those individuals partake of that. Just makes us a well-rounded department with those individuals obtaining that invaluable opportunities presented to them. On duty, we continue to do as much on duty as possible. Deputy Tebow stepped into his EMS role very, very well, and regularly meets with the groups and provides some sort of information, additional training with them, bringing in new equipment, updating on protocols, so we're excited to have that, and he's continued to be received very well. department-wide through an AFG grant that the Norfolk County Chiefs had applied to a few years ago. We're conducting incident management training. Multiple departments throughout Norfolk County are participating in this. So we're trying to get all in the same language, same information and shared information, since we all respond mutual aid to pretty much one another. It's a great resource for all of us, and right now we have the whole department going through the process, and officers, and then we'll have acting officers going through the second stage. So it's a great resource, and we'll be on the same page with multiple communities, so we can work well and hand in hand with one another. So excited for that. Our senior breakfast this year again was coordinated by Lieutenant Armstrong, firefighter Morandi, and retired firefighter Jim Curley, with the help of on- and off-duty firefighters and a tremendous group of volunteers that are always there to help us out. And they all put our annual senior breakfast at the COA on Friday before St. Patrick's Day. So it was a great attendance. It's always well, there's no charge. It's always a sold-out event with waiting room only. So it's our honor to put that on and share breakfast with that community. Many thanks to Kerry and her staff and all the members who helped participate to make that day an extreme success. And the night before the 4th is back on July 3rd, the night before. So I'll be before you again shortly with a new chair, firefighter Erica Thomas. Deputy Hover has stepped down from that role, and hats off to him. He's done a great job, coordinated that for the past few years, and he's assisting Erica with the transition right now. So again, we'll be before you with the standard information requests for the boards for road closure and the such. So with that, I thank the board for your time and answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Chief. Really good update, and again, appreciate the insurance update follow-up. I don't have any further questions. Any other questions or comments from the board?
I have one comment and a question. So the comment is the same as I said to the fire department. I'm always impressed with how much training you're doing, and the officers and the firefighters looking for additional training. I think that's a great thing. Shows real strength of the department, and that everybody wants to grow and be more capable going forward. So I think that's a great thing. The question was really more along the lines of Massachusetts healthcare is in a state of crisis. And I know that affects you every day when you drive past Norwood Hospital and have to go to Brockton or wherever you're going that day. What are you seeing? Is it stable right now when you get to the ER with somebody who needed a transport, or is it a struggle day by day depending on where you go?
It ebbs and flows. It has gotten better. Communication has gotten better on when hospitals are having extended transfer from our cot to their bed. So the wait time for us to get our trucks to be able to transfer care to the hospital has rescinded a little bit, but there is still a lot of travel for our ambulances and our crews to treat the patient. The transport time, the treatment time in the back of an ambulance is extended. We are still spreading around the community. I'd say it's a constant. It's like I said, some days are slower, some days are busier, but it's just overall it hasn't gotten much better.
Thanks.
So it's an unfortunate tide that we're in right now.
Yep.
Other comments or questions?
Thank you, everybody.
Chief, thank you. Great update.
State rep in for that.
It's after 7:30, open forum. Anyone here for open forum? Being none, we'll move forward with new business. We have a discussion vote to sign an MOA with various employee groups concerning modifications to health insurance. Jim, you want to touch base with us on that?
So as I updated the board at the last meeting, we had 2 meetings with the various employee groups, different unions on the school and the town side. We were able to come to an agreement where we, instead of raising rates to about 14%, we were able to reduce those by offsetting some of our co-pays and deductibles, reducing those down just a bit. So the rate increase is going to be 10%, just about. School committee voted favorable action on that this afternoon. All the employee groups have come in and signed the agreement, so the select board's the last group we need signatures for. So this is really great. I had a meeting last week with the Norfolk County managers. I mentioned how we get it done in 2 meetings, and all of them were blown away. everyone in Norfolk County, for the most part, is going through a similar situation, and they're considering whether or not to go to different health groups. It's just great that we could negotiate with our employees so quickly. They understood the sense of urgency. Not only did the town make out on this, the employees made out. Their rates were reduced too. So it's a win all around, I would think, for everyone. So recommend favorable action.
Yeah, I mean, Jim, you did a really good job on this, and I give Kevin Feely kudos as well, and certainly the interactions with the union reps, which I attended both meetings. I think Mark was at those as well. And those meetings were very productive and very cooperative, and you're right, this is a win for both sides, which is, you know, what any good negotiation is all about. So really happy that we were able to pull this together. And again, kudos to everybody. I see Christine out in the audience as well. Thank you for your help on this, okay? All right, any other comments on this one? Mark?
I was just going to say, like,
Sorry.
great work done by everyone, because this was really a very tight time frame, and I think it's a benefit to everyone.
Yes, well done. Mark?
I'll make a motion to sign the MOA with various employee groups concerning modifications to health insurance.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
500. Next up, request from the town administrator to let's get into the used truck business, Jim?
Yeah, for sure. This is something Rick Mattson, Tom Perch County, Chief Barry have been working on to get rid of some of those older vehicles. We've been holding off on some of these until we've gotten the new ones in. So with the two bigger trucks, the new Macs have come in, and a lot of these F-150s, most of them are, we've just been waiting for the replacements to come in. So they're in. Tom's getting them all lettered and ready to go, so we got to declare them surplus. Stephanie's already gone down and taken the pictures of them. I believe she has the listings on Munibid all ready to go, so we just need to declare it surplus. And the oldest truck here, that 1994, was an Eversource truck that was Michael somehow years ago finagled them to give it to us. And the last 10, 12 years, it's been nothing but a problem, money pit, to just kind of keep it going. So everyone's going to be happy to see that one go.
Good. Questions for Jim? Mark?
I'll make a motion to approve the request of the town administrator to declare various vehicles as surplus as outlined in the memo dated March 20th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
500. On to the consent agenda. Mark?
Motion to approve the consent items as listed on the March 25th agenda.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
500.
Motion to approve the minutes of March 11th, 2025 as presented.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
500. Jim, town administrator's report.
Sure, just a few items. MWRA connection, sewer and water commissioners have been working hard on that project for a long time. As I mentioned last week, they're going to go forward with Weston and Sampson to continue to pursue the connection, to get it designed and ready to go and have bids in hand at one of the upcoming town meetings. So I recently, just yesterday, sent a memo to the select board and commissioners asking the boards to get together to hold a joint meeting. I know the chairs and vice chairs of both boards are getting together, I think, next week or something, to kind of coordinate that meeting. So I'm expecting probably something in April, May timeframe, everyone in the room, to kind of figure out what's the game plan going forward. So I'm glad to see that that's happening. Steve Nunnery, Scott Gustafson, Rick, and Leah Stanton over at Weston and Sampson have been really working hard the last few years on this thing. So looking forward to moving that along. Health insurance, I mentioned that. We're ready to go with open enrollment. Chris has it all lined up for the month of April. We're going to be having a health fair for the employees to come in, kind of try to sell the flex spending plan a little bit more. That's been in place for about 10 years or so. And the FY26 budget in town meeting. Town Finance Committee is supposed to meet on Thursday night. They're going to take up the FY26 budget. I expect them to vote in the affirmative on that one. They're also going to get an update from Patrick and from Jim Crowley, just an overview of the zoning articles. So Select Board still needs to vote on the FY26 budget and the zoning articles, just favorable action, non-favorable, but I've held off on that probably till your next meeting, at least on the budget. So I don't know what they're going to do with the zoning articles. They may wait until after the planning board holds their public hearing the first full week in April, or they might decide just to go ahead and do it. So more to come. That's it.
I have a question for you, the bird dam.
Yes.
So our April 8th meeting, we're going to have an agenda item to talk about the bird dam, and I think we're going to be looking for any final public input at that meeting as well. So I think you had said you were going to do some kind of signage or whatever to let people know that that was happening, and thought we should.
What we could do is, if you're okay with it, what we did last time is put one of the portable signboards out in East Walpole, right near Jimmy's Pizza or the old clock tower, somewhere around there, just to let people know. And right now, we have it scheduled for this room, ready for that meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think there should be enough,
Okay.
enough space for that.
Yeah, and the theory would be that we're not
Department
going
heads will be there.
The theory is we're not going to regurgitate what got said in the public meeting that we had some months ago. This would be for new information, but did want to make sure that the people affected are aware that that's going to be on April 8th, so our next meeting, and we will be looking for public input. We will also talk about the process as we go forward between now and I believe the end of May, which is when the DCR folks have asked us for our answer and recommendation.
Yes.
So between now and then, over the next 2 months, we need to land that plane. And so April 8th, our next meeting, we're going to talk about that whole thing.
Sure.
Okay,
Put that out there.
good. Anything else for Jim? Mark?
I would just say that I've seen the slightest bit of work done on Route 1A. I know they were working on the bridge maybe 2 days in a row, and then they disappeared again, but, it'd be great if you could give us an update, maybe the next meeting of,
Okay.
are they serious about getting it finished this year? What's their plan? All those kind of things. So I get asked that all the time by people who drive along the bumpy road, as they travel around Walpole, so.
I'll even try to get MassDOT to come in and give an update. They don't generally like to do that, but Rick and I can ask and see if
Oh,
they
that'd
can
be
do
great.
that. Yeah.
Just a reminder, this has been said in the past, but they're contractually required to finish by December 31st of this year?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, that's what I remember.
Yeah.
That's the date on the bridge is 2025, so that's why they couldn't finish it early last year, even though they were close.
They didn't. Thank you.
Anything else for Jim?
No.
Okay, I think
Motion
we're
to adjourn?
done. Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We're now adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Good night.